So, Habib, you said there's levels to fighting, right? It's easy now for you to do what you're doing. For 30 years, you were training from 3, 4 years old. Like it's been non-stop, okay, non-stop. And in the competitive space, there's a lot of different things. Like when it comes down to competition, one person could be better in skill sets, but mentally they're weak, or temptations, or habit, or distractions, or friendships, or picking the wrong coach, studying the wrong philosophy, getting distracted, opponent confusing you from your game plan, and you're going this way. As you've gone from the levels of a kid learning how to fight to next level, street fight, 17 years old, boom, and then next, then you're champion, the best in the world. What have you noticed at each level where you're like, yeah, that guy's not going to be able to compete because he's not willing to do X, Y, Z? What have you noticed at each level?
It's like in fighting game, there is levels. They have levels, for sure. Like, for example, on this arena, I was 23 years old, and I have only one fight in UFC, and it was my second time in my life I see cage. Because when I was competing in Russia, it was no cage, it was ring. And I was fighting versus 29 years old, 14 ranked in the world. He have 17 fights in UFC, and one of the best. He was one of the best at that time. I was fighting with Layson Tibau, and it was like very tough fight for me. I win like unanimous decision, but this fight bring me on different level because I compete with him. We share cage together, and I beat him. I become on another level, and every fight can bring you on another level. If you between fights gonna learn. If you between fights non-stop and train. And this is, I talk about experience, but there is one more things, like about your mental toughness. Because when you go to the cage, you have so many emotional come same time on your head. And you have to live this, every emotional they have separate places, but if everything come on your mind and this can make you weak, this can make you break, this can make you strong. It's like these things, big difference between regular fighters and champions, and for example. It was 2012 here. And after 6 years, I fight neighbor in neighbor arena, T-Mobile Arena. It was biggest fight in UFC history. Like billions people watch. And it was like big pressure. This guy, like you say, he was talk too much.
You're talking about Conor.
Yes, I talk about Conor, yeah. And it was like very big fight, and it was like big pressure on me. And I remember when I was talking with my father, and he told me, hey, remember, you know how people make diamonds? Diamonds make it under big pressure. If you can handle this pressure, you're going to become diamond. But if you lose, you're going to be loser. Just be careful. You have to understand. You have to understand what you want. When time comes, you have to shine. And it was very good advice for me. I remember because he was in Dagestan because he didn't have visa. He could not come to support me. I was here in Vegas. I handled this, but I was cornering a lot of guys. I see a lot of fights, and I can say like a lot of guys they broke before they come to the cage.
Broke.
But inside the gym, they are like beasts. But when time comes, when you go to the arena, when 16,000, 20,000 people look at you, you cannot shine because they cannot deal with the emotion. You know, it's very hard to control because so many things come same time on your head.
How do you deal with it?
You know, I cannot say like exactly the way how I deal with this. Like I think you have to born with this. This is what I think.
You think so?
You can train yourself. You can have like, you can become like experienced fighter, train yourself, everything. But if you don't have like this mentality, like somebody gonna break you.
So it's not like you're sitting there, you're praying to God, or you're thinking about what your dad told you, you're going to a nice place in your life, or you're tapping into comments of what that person said, or you're going to your game plan. You're not doing that.
This is different things. This is about what you believe. This is about what about your faith, you know? Like what I believe, like anything can happen with you, this is for reason. And it's like, if you lose, you lose. But of course, I don't want to lose, but like, it's very hard to explain. It's very hard to explain, but you know, this is about your faith. Like maybe people gonna think, oh, this guy too much, like how to say, too comfortable. Not
religious?
No. Underestimate. You cannot underestimate. Like my mind was like, how this guy can stop me? I train all my life, every day, no day off. How this guy can stop me? Okay, only one way how he can stop me, like it's supposed to be like lucky punch or something like this.